Hey everybody, it's Jeff from New York and I'm here in beautiful Niagara Falls right in front of the Maid of the Mist boat ride attraction. I am in Niagara Falls State Park. It's a beautiful park. Might be a federal park, I'm not sure. I'll leave a comment I guess while I'm editing, but this is a beautiful park. It has its own video here on the channel, or it will at least. But I'm looking forward to the Maid of the Mist ride. It's one of the biggest attractions here in Niagara. Come along with me. So if you've been following the Niagara series here on the New York channel, you know that one of the days I was in Niagara, I took a tour, and it was about a 4 or 5 hour tour. It was on a bus, a small group, and it took us to a lot of attractions. And if you're in town for, I'm going to say 3 or 4 days, it's definitely worth it. You get to see a lot. It's a lot cheaper than buying tickets individually. We're doing today the Maid of the Mist, which was included in the tour. There's Cave of the Winds, which was included in the tour. And the tour guide also showed us around different areas of the park, and it was definitely worth it. It was like $100, and that's more than, or a lot less, I should say, than the tickets themselves for these attractions. On top of that, you get some great information from the tour guide, and you get to meet new friends.
Back a lot of memories to York. Number one is, this is where we did our shopping. When I grew up, there were no Kmart, Walmart, Target. Only place to get their clothes or drugs.
This area of downtown Niagara Falls on the U.S. side is really beautiful, especially this time of the year.
You know, it's 3 times as wide as it is today. On one side of the road was all novelty stores, souvenir stores. On the other side of the road was all department stores, shows, nightclubs, a booming place. Can I tell you a story about my mother?
The tour guide wants to know if he told us a story about his mother, and we just met him 2 minutes ago, so I don't think so. He was a really nice guy. Speaking of the tour guide, I was the last to be dropped off when the tour was over from my hotel, and we shot the breeze for about 20-25 minutes. I asked him tons of questions. Again, asking locals is the best thing you could possibly do when you're away from home, as far as what to see, what to do, where to eat, things like that. And he gave me lots of great information, including the best wings in Buffalo, the best buffalo wings, which actually came from Buffalo. He told me the Anchor Bar, and that was confirmed by many people after he told me that yeah, they are the best wings. And that video is available on the Jersey Jeff Eats channel. And as I mentioned in other Niagara Falls videos, all of this is within walking distance from the place that I was staying, the Seneca Casino Resort here in Niagara. But the tour just made it more informative, and of course it sped things up. And as I've mentioned in my Niagara Falls State Park video, there are lots of stairs in this park. Off in the distance, you can see a balloon ride. It's not actually free, it's tethered to the ground, but it does go pretty high, and it depends on the weather whether it's open or not. That's the Rainbow Bridge, which connects the U.S. side to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls, and it's both for vehicles and pedestrians as well. It's a fun walk, great views from that bridge, and I believe that's my next video here on the New York channel as far as Niagara Falls videos. Then we're going to check out the Canadian side, which there's a lot to see there as well coming up soon. So we were up pretty high and took an elevator to get down to the water level. And in just a few moments, we'll be on the Maid of Mist, heading towards those falls, getting very close to them. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're enjoying the video, give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. And if you have the time, share it on your social media. That gets the video more views and the channel new subscribers. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then just click on that super thanks button right underneath the video. Doing so will get you a shout out on a future New York video. I appreciate your support, guys. Well, I got my poncho and I'm ready to get wet. Hopefully not too wet. I got a lot more to do this afternoon and I don't feel like changing clothes. Obviously, the boats on this side of the river are called Maid of the Mist, and their ponchos are typically blue. The Canadian side, their boats are called the Hornblower, and they wear red ponchos, but I believe both sides are currently wearing pink ponchos for breast cancer awareness. I'm not sure how many boats are on the Canadian side, but there's 4 Maid of the Mists on this side of the river, and each one holds about 650 passengers. And if you were wondering if you should take the ride both on the US side as well as the Canadian side, my answer is no. It's the same river and the same Niagara Falls. A couple of tips here. The boats are 2 levels. The lower level, you won't get as wet as the top level, and the further to the front of the boat you are, the more wet you're gonna get. I, of course, immediately headed to the front of the top level. First, we're going to pass the American Falls here, including the Bridal Falls. Then we're going to head over to the beautiful Horseshoe Falls, which are half American, half Canadian, and we're going to get pretty close to them. Mind you, I'm going to get wet, so is my camera, so keep that in mind. That's an interesting building that looks like it's built right into the rocks there. The building is the abandoned Ontario Power Company's generating station, which was built in 1905. The station ceased operations in 1999 and is now owned by the Niagara Parks Commission. This building is also where the lights are located that illuminate the falls each evening all year long. I mentioned crossing over the Rainbow Bridge to the Canadian side in my next video, and following that there's going to be lots of videos on the Canadian side, including the park that faces the U.S. side and those beautiful falls. We'll take a walk along that park. We'll also visit Clifton Park in Canada, which is a huge tourist area filled with a lot of attractions, restaurants, shopping, as well as an observation wheel, which I'll take a ride on as well. Another look at the American Falls, and the little separated falls on the extreme right is called Bridal Veil Falls. It's really part of the American Falls, but it's kind of separated by, I'm going to say, a 50-foot rock formation. And it has its own name, Bridal Veil Falls. And that's the Horseshoe Falls behind us as we head back to our dock here on the Niagara River. Just a few moments ago, we felt like we were in a pouring rainstorm, but the sun's been out all along. There's a nice shot of the Rainbow Bridge. It leads from one beautiful park on the American side to another on the Canadian. It takes about 5 minutes to cross that bridge on foot, and it took me about, I'm going to say, between 15 and 20 minutes to go from my hotel here on the American side to the park on the Canadian side. 20-minute walk, that's all. And even though it's only 15-20 minutes, it seems a lot faster actually because of just the stunning views from both sides of the bridge, and especially when you're on top of the bridge. Well, it's time to disembark. You would think people would be slipping all over the stairs and all over the decks, but they're all covered with rubber and it's almost impossible to slip. As I mentioned earlier, these boats hold about 650, 700 people. We are nowhere near that. I don't think we're even halfway at capacity. And typically there's a rush to the gangway when the boat's docking because everyone wants to get off first instead of waiting in line. I guess that's why they call it a gangway. But since we are nowhere near capacity, there's really no line here. And I have to say, these guys know what they're doing. They're all professionals, and they know how to move crowds very quickly. There's another crowd waiting to get on this boat as soon as we get off. If you're the type to get seasick and you're curious about that on this excursion, well, there is a bit of chop to this river, but it's mostly by the falls. And quite honestly, I don't think you're on the water, or in the chop at least, that long to suffer any consequences as far as seasickness is concerned. But hey, I don't want to misguide those who have seasickness. I don't suffer from seasickness, but I've been around people who have, and I know it's extremely uncomfortable for them. So I don't want to give any bad advice. If you suffer from seasickness, you might want to rethink another attraction like the Cave of the Winds, which is another video here on the New York channel where we go under the falls. No boats or choppy waters involved. Did I mention the stairs? I'm sure I have. Before the video ends, I'm going to take you guys to a observation deck here as well as the gift shop. This observation deck juts out from the elevators here at the Maid of the Mist attraction. It's got a great vantage point for checking out the Niagara Falls State Park, the Canadian side of the falls, and of course the falls themselves and the Rainbow Bridge. It's really a great place to take some pictures. Not open to the public. It is part of the Maid of the Mist attraction, so if you're roaming around Niagara Falls State Park and you want to check it out, well, you can't unless of course you have a Maid of the Mist ticket. Again, coming up on the New York channel, lots to explore on that Canadian side. That beautiful park across the river is called Queen Victoria Park, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. What a beautiful day to do this, but I want to check out the gift shop and bring you guys along. It'll only take a moment, and of course the tour bus is on schedule, and I don't want to be the last person on that bus. That person is not well liked by people. When you're late and you're the last person on the bus, you're going to get a lot of frowns, so don't want to be that person. Let's go check out that gift shop real quickly. So you guys know I collect refrigerator magnets, and I already got my American side of the falls magnet, and I've yet to head over to the Canadian side, but I'll pick one up when I'm there. But I saw a Maid of the Mist magnet here, and I just had to pick it up because, well, it's such a popular attraction. Hey, if you're still with us, don't forget to subscribe to the New York channel, click that thumbs up button, share it on your social media, and don't forget to support the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you around the city.